All right, welcome back. Let's go ahead and walk through this design example. This will finish up chapter 7. And so what we'd like to do is we'd like to take a sample that we have in stock, and through a process of cold working, we'd like to increase its strength to a certain value, but we're also going to have a requirement that the ductility must also be greater than a certain value. So we can't just simply increase the strength. So this might be a drawing process, for example. And so the data we're given is the yield strength curve and the ductility curve. Again, you can see these move in opposite directions. So here's the example. Let's say that we've got a brass rod with an initial diameter. Say this just happens to be what's in stock. And we'd like to cold work it by drawing it down. And we would like to achieve a yield strength that's greater than 345. And we'd like to also have a ductility that's at least 20% through that process. And the final diameter of our rod needs to be 5.1. Okay. So first thing we want to do is just let's go ahead and draw this 6.4 millimeter rod down to 5.1. And then let's go ahead and check the percent cold work. All right. So percent cold work, remember this is an area. And so my equation then becomes the original diameter squared, because these are all going to cancel. So it becomes the original diameter squared minus the final diameter squared over the original diameter squared. So we go ahead and plug those in, and we get 36.5% cold work. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our plots. So at 36.5 cold work on brass, we have a yield strength of about 410, okay? And that is greater than 345 megapascals, which is our design goal, so that's good. And then if we go ahead and take a look at our ductility chart, at 36.5 on brass, we have 8% ductility. 8% ductility, though, is less than the required 20%. So this fails. So we weren't able to achieve what we wanted by simply drawing the rod down in one shot. So we're going to have to do something different. So what we're going to do is let's go ahead and see first if it's possible. Is there a cold work value that actually will be greater than 345 and have an elongation greater than 20? So is this even possible? So we're going to start off at 345 on our brass, and we get 20% cold work. Now remember, that's a minimum, so we can be anywhere over on this side. So we need to be greater than 20% cold work. That's my requirement there. Now the 20% elongation, let's go ahead and do that. That's 20. We pull that off the brass and we get 23. Okay. Now I can be anything greater than 20, so that means I need to move this way. So I need to be less than 23% cold work. All right, so that works, right? I need to be less than 23 and I need to be greater than 20. So anything between 20 and 23 would actually work. So this is possible. So as a design criterion, I'm just going to go ahead and pick a number in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and use 21.5. So if I can achieve 21.5% cold work, I will have satisfied both my requirements. So let's see how we can get this 21.5 value. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask the question then, you know, my final size is 5.1. That's a design criteria. So I need to know what diameter rod do I need in the shop, right? That if I drew it down to this 5.1 would give me the correct cold work value. So here's my cold work, and I'm going to go ahead and solve for the size that I need. And I'm going to get 5.76. So if I had 5.76, then I could just draw it down to 5.1 and I would meet my design criteria. Okay, but I don't, right? I've got 6.4. All right, so finally, what are we going to do? We're going to take our 6.4, we're going to draw that down to 5.76, which is the size we want. Okay. This would give us 19% cold work, which we don't want. So what we're going to do now is heat it up, recrystallize it. That'll remove the cold working. So now I'm back down to 0% cold work. All right, so now I'm at 5.76 with a 0% cold work, which is what I need. So I can just go ahead and draw that down to 5.1. That'll give me 21.5% cold work. And that meets my criteria. If I go back and look at those charts, that'll end up giving me 350 megapascals and 21% elongation. All right.